Back to breaking news in the past hour. A federal judge has denied bail for Sean Diddy Combs after a mixed verdict today for the rapper and record producer. The accusations stem from his so-called freak-off parties where women were allegedly forced into sex acts. Earlier today, a federal jury in New York found him not guilty of racketeering and sex trafficking, but guilty of transporting two women, Cassie Ventura and Jane Doe, for prostitution. Joining us live now to discuss the denial of bail, the impact of the verdict, and what now, Oakland-based criminal defense attorney and the president of the Alameda County Bar Association, Jo-Anna Nieves. Ms. Nieves, thanks for joining us today.
Hi, thanks for having me.
What do you think about the judge's denial of bail this afternoon and the stated reason of past violence against women for it?
I think it was to be expected. I mean, the judge was there throughout the whole entire trial, just like the jury was. He heard the testimony, and like he said, he full-throatedly admitted in closing arguments that there was violence and violence against women, and that domestic violence is violence. So I think he stated his reasons clearly for denying bail. He has served a significant amount of time in pretrial detention, but it's anticipated that he's going to be serving even more time, and the judge made it clear that, letting him out right now, he views him as a danger to the public. He's had multiple victims, and this doesn't come as a surprise that that's the way he leaned.
Right. Of course, Diddy's team had proposed travel restrictions, surrendering his passport, and a $1 million bond, saying that he's not really a risk at this point. But of course, obviously, the judge did not agree. Okay, so now that the bail's denied, what will the next few months look like for Diddy before sentencing?
Right. I think they're definitely going to be preparing for the arguments for sentencing, right? What are the mitigating factors that the defense will present, and what are the aggravating factors that the prosecution is going to point to ask for a longer term in sentencing? Because obviously they want the judge to give a higher sentence. I mean, the maximum exposure is 20 years, but Diddy has no past criminal history. Whether or not they argue that he has community involvement or he's significantly impacted in health or age in any type of way, that's to be seen. But of course, the prosecution is going to point to that pattern of violence that they presented throughout the trial to look for a higher sentence.
Right. And of course, the judge wants to do it in October. That's what he's proposing anyway. Diddy faces up to 10 years for each of the two convictions. Of course, that's a lot less than he could have gotten had he been convicted of the more serious charges. But let me just ask you, how much time do you expect him to get?
I really don't see him getting more than 10 years. I do think that the prosecution proposed anywhere from 51 to 63 months at this point in time. They might ask for something higher as they get closer to sentencing. And to see the judge deviate from guidelines, he's really going to be looking for, if there that coerciveness, that force, that pattern of violence that really makes him able to deviate from guidelines upward in a way that he could justify and explain.
Let's talk about the verdict. It is seen as a win for Diddy and a loss for the federal prosecutors because he did not get convicted on the more serious charges of racketeering, of course, and also sex trafficking. What do you think the judge focused on? And was there a shortcoming in the prosecutor's case, or was it simply, as some say, maybe they overcharged?
I don't think that they necessarily overcharged. I do believe that the prosecution believed that they had their case and could prove their case. There was this these widespread allegations of various crimes that were committed in different categories: transportation, sex trafficking, arson, bribery, the whole ambit. I do think that the jury maybe found it difficult to understand each element of the racketeering conspiracy that would have led to a conviction, and that because of the ongoing consensual nature of the relationships between his long-term partners, they maybe found it hard to separate all of what seemed to be willing participant activity in these freak-offs and hotel nights in order to get the conviction on the sex trafficking. But I don't think that the prosecution was so far off in their analysis. Just the jury, the defense was able to convince the jury that they hadn't met the burden.
All right, well, this was a federal case. Could he still be tried on the state level? And also, what happens to any civil lawsuits that he has against him? Does this impact those at all?
Well, he's been found, there's a verdict in this case. He was found not guilty of 3 of the charges. He's found guilty of the charges. This case is resolved. However, and as far as like other crimes on the state level that he may be exposed to, it would depend on the statute of limitations and whether or not there's still a legal basis to bring those charges at this point in time. As far as civil suits, I think the outcome will impact those civil suits. I don't think that they're going to go away completely. Obviously, the fact that he was found not guilty of sex trafficking may impact the view of those civil cases, but the burden is lower. So it's to be determined what will happen there, but I imagine he'll probably work on settling quite a few of them.
All right, we only have a few seconds left, but I do want to ask you if you think if he wasn't a celebrity, would things have been any different, you think?
I don't think that it would have fallen on the prosecution's radar the way that it did for the prosecution to pursue it the way that they went after it. But, with this jury, I don't think that the celebrity factor really played into their decision that much. I think that, they saw the violence, they saw the crimes, but really it boiled down to whether or not they understood how this pattern of violence and these crimes really amounted to something that was being coordinated and conspired by an enterprise. And I don't think that they agreed that that element was met.
All right. Criminal defense attorney Jo-Anna Nieves, thank you so much for your expertise.
Thank you.
Don't forget to like and share this video. And for more legal insights, keep watching and subscribe to our channel.